Hi there, you're listening to Lee from the Plump DJs, and this is the Liverpool Connection podcast.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Liverpool Connection podcast. This is my music and football episode where I bring on a musician DJ to talk about football and music. My next guest is label boss of Rhythm Cult. He's got a load of remixes coming out, and one with one of my favorite producers, which is Mark Bell, aka Black Cat. And I can't wait to talk to you about that, because what a track it is. And he's such a legend in the scene. But my next guest is also a Liverpool supporter, which puts him high on the pedestal for me. I welcome Paul Loraine to the podcast. Paul, it is so nice to finally put the face to our WhatsApp chats.
Hi, Dad. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And yeah,
So
finally.
we'll talk footy. We're supporters of the greatest football team in the world. I don't care what anybody else says. We are. Why Liverpool for you?
Yeah, it's a great question actually, and I get asked it a lot because you can probably tell by my accent. It's kind of cockney. I've lost it over the years, but I was raised in London but born in Guernsey, so everyone's like, "Well, why are you a plastic fan?" Yeah. So, well, the answer to that is that my mother's uncle is a diehard Red. Used to be a season ticket holder back in the day, and yeah, basically from the age of 0 was just putting scarves on us and buying us Liverpool kits for every birthday. And yeah, it was to before I even knew I was a Red. So yeah, I thank him every time I see him. I say thanks for the heart attack, but thank you for the good times as well.
Oh, that's a good uncle. That's a really good
Yeah,
uncle.
he's a top bloke. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah.
Can you imagine if he'd put an Evertonian scarf around you?
Well, I
Oh,
probably would have disowned it, to be honest. I would have probably matured along the way, right?
yeah, found a way to burn it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So who was your footballing hero growing up?
Wow. Well, I grew up in the 90s, kind of, I was a 70s child. So, Doug Leash, Barnes, all of that crew, basically. And yeah, I just, kind of just got so used to us lifting everything. And I say to my friends, I say, I've been alive for all 5 of our Champions Leagues. Uh, So yeah, you just kind of get so used to it, and then obviously, the famous loss at Arsenal when we just needed a draw, and as you know, the big dip came from there. But we still won European Cups and all the other trophies that are available over the years. But yeah, definitely the team of the '90s for me, Doug Leash, and yeah, great memories, great memories.
Oh, it was a brilliant team, and I'm so blessed to have had most of that team as guests, which is just incredible to listen to them
Amazing.
talk, talk about all the finals and how they were all mates. And
Yeah,
it's weird as you look at the current team and they look like they're all mates as well. You see them laughing and training, and they really look, like good
I
friends.
think
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what you need. We all, if you watched, 90s Liverpool, we were the best team on the planet.
yeah,
John Barnes was absolutely unplayable. King Kenny, hats
Rush.
off to him. Yeah, Rush. I mean, we had so many world class players.
Yeah.
We did have a dip when Suey was manager. It just didn't
Mhm.
work out. The Roy Evans, Houllier time just didn't work out. But then Houllier went on to win, the treble. Maybe not the treble that people like to
Yeah,
call the
but
treble.
a treble
We did win a
nonetheless.
treble. We did win a treble.
We won a treble.
And then obviously, the Roy Hodgson era. Um,
Yeah.
So
We won't speak about that, but lovely guy nonetheless.
yeah, he did what he did, and we Liverpool tried it with him, and it just didn't work out. It's just one of those. I mean, come on, you bring Joe Cole, who
Yeah.
you know what? From a punter, I've heard nothing but like he talks so much smack about Liverpool, and I think that really is because he had a torrid time there.
Yeah, he did. And like it's, I actually like Joe. I thought he was a cracking player. I really did. And then, I think it's just one of those crazy signings that we sometimes do. We've done a few, haven't we?
Oh yeah,
Telly.
we've done plenty. Paul Chesky,
Yeah,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ. Yeah, I mean,
But I
but
think this is something that now I think the whole structure of the club, right, from the very top is so well organized, right? We have a team that's looking after everything. And I think they've gone almost to the Moneyball effect, haven't they? Or they did, I think, just before Klopp, and it's obviously working, right? Because
yeah,
we're
well, but I also, I don't mind that, but obviously you get on social media and people want to win the transfer trophy. And it just makes me laugh. Why aren't we buying this player? Why aren't we buying that? I mean, right now, I think we have one of the best squads. The only person
I
that's
do.
out is Trent, and he's supposed to be back in the next couple of weeks anyway. And
Hmm.
it usually takes a player time to bed in anyway.
Yeah,
But people look at Man City. Oh, Man City, they've just bought four players. They've bought four players because they're shite. I mean, the
yeah,
midfield looks like Henderson and Fabinho in their last season.
yeah,
The engine's gone. You know,
yeah,
Kevin De Bruyne, who was world class, looks a shadow of himself. That's why they needed to go out and buy. Because they need to make top four. I
yeah.
think.
And it's going to be a hell of a battle for them to do that. Because, like you said, players need time to bed in. The system that Pep uses is it's not. I wouldn't say it's going to be easy for the new signings to come in. The same as Villa, they made four signings as well, didn't they? Yeah,
And they're
I've
all.
seen it before in the past where a team has been flying and then they go in the January transfer window and they buy two or three players and it disrupts the team.
Mhm.
It happens. So I
I mean, we've done well. We got Van Dijk in January. We had
yeah,
Suarez in January.
Allison no as well. Was he a January transfer?
No, I think he was in the summer, but we've had Diaz and Gakpo,
Diaz.
which
Yeah,
which has done really well for us. But I just
yeah,
think obviously Slot in the summer will bring in some players
yeah,
that he believes will make things better. A new left back might happen. I think Robbo's legs are kind of going a bit,
hmm
and I mean he's been with us for 8 years.
yeah. He's done well. He's been a servant.
Simicast, he's a number two. I don't think he'll ever be a proper starting, left back for us. So we've got to look for that. But, you know, I just think people have to get behind this team, and I think one of the issues is they're thinking about last season and how we ran out of steam.
Yeah.
But Slot plays differently than Klopp.
Yeah, do you know what I like about Slot is he doesn't suffer fools in any way whatsoever. He just says it how it is. He's not scared of rotation. He'll bring subs on at 60 minutes, whereas Klopp for me it was like make changes, and it'd be the 80th minute, and you're like, ah. And it's
Mhm.
already been proven that Slot substitutes work because fresh legs. And yeah, I think we've learned a lot from I just think that for me, the way I look at Liverpool since Klopp took over, it was like we learned from our hardship times, right? We lost the Premier League by 1 point. We lost the Champions League. We went on to win it, went on to win the Premiership. And I think we just learned from those tiny little details, the tiny little, tweaks that you got to make. And I think that like Slot, I just think he's so clever in that. I think that the way that because every interview that I've seen, and you'll probably sort of say the same, every player says every detail is different, you know? Even at half time, he's really like, right, and I love it. You can see them with the iPads every 5 seconds. And
Well,
yeah, I'm just really excited.
he's not afraid to. I mean, you saw what happened against Ipswich the first game with
Yeah,
Kwanzaa.
Bonza.
He knew it wasn't working, so
Yeah.
he yanked him, and he's not afraid to take any player off, and I like that. And Klopp
Yeah.
keep them on, and was hoping they would change.
He was very loyal.
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing that I would say I had a bit of an issue with. He was too loyal. Um,
Hmm.
love love Klopp. Don't get me wrong. 9 years,
Yeah,
he
of
brought me so much joy. I've never seen
course.
football played
Yeah.
in that way before. But Slot has tweaked Klopp's system.
Hmm.
Everybody's like, well, all the credit's got to go to Klopp, which I just think is an absolute load of bollocks.
Yeah.
Credit does go to him because he's left this club in a good place. Like
In
Fergie,
an
when he
amazing
left,
place. Yeah.
Man United just crumbled.
Yeah.
But he's left Liverpool in a really good place. And Slot, you know, again with the transfers, why didn't Slot do this? Why didn't Slot do that? Slot came in, finally got the team, together, and then was like, all right, I've seen enough. I'll keep him. And look what.
This is the thing. He saw what he was working with, and he said we didn't need to strengthen because we had everything. We had backup in every position as well. It's funny because Dad, I really do believe that at the end of the season, regardless of what happens, I do believe that there are going to be some major changes. I really
Mhm.
do. I believe that Slot will want his own team, a bit like Klopp did. And I think that maybe 4 or 5 teams players will go, and we'll be shocked, but we'll get some new players in. And his history, shows he buys the right players. And obviously we've got, as I said, a team above him that's going to be doing all the analytics. He's going to obviously say, look into this player, and I've just got a funny feeling that we're going to have a lot of changes. I'd be surprised if we didn't. I mean, the contracts, you know, it's been going on now for ages, and it's a bit of a sore subject, really. I mean, it doesn't bode well for anybody, but it makes me think that maybe there are big changes afloat and new players to come in and fit in those positions. I think Van Dijk will stay.
I do too. I just think, everybody wants to know everything about Liverpool.
Yeah, always,
As,
right?
as supporters, we do want to know what's going on with Mo, what's going on with Virgil and Trent. But, I do like what Trent said, that he's not going to play this out in public. And I really respect that.
Yeah,
Well, you've got Mo, who has been just mouthing off a little bit too much for my liking.
yeah,
Van Dijk, if he gets asked a question, he's cool about it.
yeah,
Um, I'd love all three to stay. I would, but we just living in a different world. I mean, it's how long's the contract? How
yeah,
much? I mean, you've got to think with Mo. Yes, he's playing probably some of the best football he's played in a while. I mean, he does it every single season, but last season he had a bit of a drop off. So I can understand the trepidation from the club going, let's
oh
see
yeah,
how you play this out. And if you've still got that fire in your belly and you're still training, because he keeps we all see the pictures in Instagram.
yeah,
He's built
yeah.
like a brick shit
He's a
house.
machine.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
if you keep those levels, then yes,
Mhm.
I understand a 2 year deal, but he's looking at it, and so's Virgil, as like, all right, we're in the prime of our career. We've got
Yeah,
2, 3 seasons left. This has to be the right contract for us and for the club, because
I agree.
this is probably going to be the end of their career. I mean, people going, Mo can go to Saudi. Mo doesn't want to go to Saudi.
No.
He's not about like that kind of money. Mo is about winning trophies. That's what he wants,
Yeah.
playing at the highest level. And it's either us, or you would think PSG.
Yeah.
They haven't won the
Exactly.
Champions League, or Real Madrid are the only three that could probably get him. So
Yeah. And
I think
also, like, he's the main man again, isn't he? You know, he is the main man of Liverpool, and I think, you know, he's very humble. Obviously, he comes across as very humble, and that's why I'm a bit surprised at some of the comments that have been made by him. But you know, whatever. As you said, we live in a different age now, and maybe he's just playing little games here and there. But you know, when we won the Champions League, obviously the year that Ramos destroyed our chances,
Hmm.
you know, he was the focal point. Obviously, I think 44 goals he scored in 2018, right?
Hmm.
And now I think in his head, I just think because you know when he is being interviewed, he's got all these records in his mind, and you know, it's like every interview. By the way, you're top scorer in the Champions League in Liverpool, and every time it's just breaking these records. Why wouldn't you want to stay and go for all of them and become
Yeah.
like a massive legend? He's already a legend, but do you know what I mean? Just solidify that, and who knows? Who knows? It unfortunately nobody knows. That's the thing, you know. Because I was so, as you know, from the WhatsApp group, I'm so like flying the flag for Trent, saying
Hmm.
it's his boyhood club. He's never going to leave, and but like we just don't know anymore. You know, it's
Well, I mean,
ridiculous.
with Trent, you know, everyone harks on, you know, about his defending. Um, you know, is he a world class defender?
No,
No, not really. You know, but has he gotten better under Slot? I believe he has,
yeah,
and I love how Slot, you know, he look. Trent had a terrible game against Man United. It was awful, and he probably should have been yanked way before when he did. But
hmm.
after that, I think he's done well,
He's
and
been solid.
you know,
You know,
even
yes,
like against Brentford, Slot and Bournemouth as well. You know, Slot was like he's basically up against two players.
yeah.
You know,
They
which is hard to
targeted him. Yeah,
defend. Well, I
yeah.
mean, remember, you know, Hendo used to be the engine and used to take when Trent would go forward, Hendo would go
Drop
into
that. Yeah,
drop back into the right position. Grav plays differently than what Hendo does, so that there is an open space for him. But you know, there's nobody in football like Trent with
no.
that right.
What a player. I
Yeah.
mean, what a wand of a foot, right? And I saw this interview, and he was saying that, you know, they practice like the backspin of the ball, like from a 60-yard pass. It's like, are you joking? I can't even kick the ball 5 meters without getting it
Mm.
where I want it to be. You know, I was never a football player, unfortunately. I'm a lover of the game. My brother was the football player, but yeah, he just knows he's so skillful, like, you know, and it's like everybody in the team when they're saying like who's the most skillful player. Trent, you know. And
Well,
that's why that is why they trust him, you know. Yeah, you're gonna make the odd mistake. And yeah, he got targeted and he's been targeted ever since the Man United game and he's come through perfectly.
yeah, I
Um,
thought he was really good against Bournemouth.
yeah.
I just, it's people jumping on the bandwagon as they always do. You know, same goes for Robbo. Robbo's done. You know, after the Man United and Fulham games, he's done. Get rid of him. And then
Mm,
he puts in. I thought he was outstanding against Bournemouth. I really
yeah.
did. You know, he was
Yeah, I do.
everywhere.
Mhm.
And I just think that that's the thing, you know, social media. It's so easy to jump behind a keyboard and talk absolute shite, you know.
Yeah, and unfortunately that's what people do, right? Non-stop.
Yeah, yeah.
And especially, I mean, I don't know. I guess like Man United and Liverpool probably get it the worst, obviously being, you know, rightfully so, being the most successful teams. But yeah, I try to stay away from any sort of social media nonsense, but it's hard sometimes. Like walk away.
Well, yeah. I mean, after the game, you know, especially when you win, or even draw, you know, you look at YouTube, everything. You
Yeah,
want to
yeah, yeah,
involve yourself in everything Liverpool, but then you just have like the overreactions, which are just tenfold, and we all know it's for clicks and likes and for
yeah.
to get people to watch, and it just makes me laugh. I'm just like, you know, you can critique a player without being an absolute bellend, you
Do
know.
you? It's making me think. Then you know you've got the watch-alongs. Now you now got watch-alongs of the watch-alongs, which
Yeah,
is just.
yeah.
I mean, what's going on? you know,
Yeah,
it's
you've got the
bonkers.
Man United fans watching Liverpool games, and
Oh yeah, and
I
then
remember when
critiquing.
when
Yeah,
Bournemouth scored, they're all like, oh yeah, yeah, and then you see their faces drop. And I love it. They do a YouTube thing where they show the reactions
yeah,
to Man United for Liverpool, and then
it's
obviously,
brilliant, isn't it?
I'm like, if I'm a Liverpool supporter, I'm not watching a Man United match. I'm
No
sorry,
chance.
I'm
Why?
not.
Why? Unless you're in the pub, like, and it just happens to be on.
Yeah,
Let's
and
be honest.
they're losing,
And
and
even then,
I'm drinking. Then I'm gonna
yeah,
have a laugh, but I'm not gonna set up a channel where I'm watching Man United. Like
yeah,
I
yeah, that's true. I actually, yeah, and
it's
also,
hard.
you know that there's a lot of them that do the stats now, and like, oh, I'm so jealous. And I see, maybe just caught the attention a year ago and had 10,000 followers, and now they got 400 or something, and it's all like Liverpool fans just watching it, laughing their heads off, basically.
Oh,
Yeah, there's a really good story about this because, like, I was lucky enough to see, well, or unlucky, whatever you want to look at it, but the Champions League semi-final at the Camp Nou in Barcelona. I was there, and yeah, we got spanked 3-0, but we didn't get spanked. Obviously, we were
yeah,
so unlucky. Um, anyway, we obviously, the famous 4-0 victory and went on to win it. But the funny thing is my friend sent me a video of all the Barcelona YouTube channels. And I think I shared it in the group, but it was just beautiful because they thought they had it in the bag. This goal one, it's like, uh-oh. And then just slowly, like, the dream becomes a nightmare. But yeah, yeah, I do like that's trolling at its finest, right?
yeah. Well, I saw the one with Shakira.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that one. I don't
Well,
think, no.
well, she's watching with the kids, because she was married to God, what's his name from Barca, the big tall
Is it
defender.
Xavi?
No,
Was
no,
it?
no.
No?
Ah,
Yeah, I can't remember either
don't
now.
come to me, but she's watching it. It does the one where they won 3-0, and so
Yeah.
and then they do the one where we win 4-0, and it's wah, 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 and it's just
Yeah.
hilarious. If I have a bad day, I'll put YouTube on and I'll watch those, and they're just funny.
One of the most painful things is about that whole experience is that I could only get a ticket like in the actual home, like seating area. And yeah, couldn't really do or say much. And the Barca fans, which, by the way, I've been to watch Barcelona a few times, and I've even been to see, like, Barcelona versus Atletico Madrid. And the atmosphere was just, I'm not just saying it, 100,000 people, and just literally you're like, oh, sorry, like, didn't mean to make a noise. It's terrible. And yeah, the 100,000 fans started chanting their own "Allay, allay, allay," and they were making it up as they went along until by the end of the 90 minutes, the whole stadium had it. And I was just like, oh no, this couldn't get any. Oh, and it was my birthday as well. And I was
Oh,
April the 30th, and I was just thinking, this can't get any worse. And anyway, a friend of mine, he's an Argentinian friend. I think again, I shared it in the group. I gave him a Liverpool top. He called me. He was like, "Paul, what's going on, mate? I can't believe it. I'm devastated." And I said, "Dude, we're Liverpool, mate. This is not over. We still got one more game left." And that was literally walking out the stadium saying that. And I did feel something could happen. I know it sounds crazy, but I was like, "Come on, we're never Liverpool. You can never ever say it's over during the game because you just never know with us."
I mean, I knew we would win that game. Did I think we
Yeah,
would score four?
at the
No,
home game, yeah.
I just knew we would beat him with the cop just you know
Yeah,
basically taking that ball and putting it in the back of the
sucking
net.
it into the net. Yeah,
There's no chance that I think we would win 4-0. I had a couple of mates there, and they were just texting me going, This can't be real.
yeah.
This
Wow,
isn't real. I'm watching, Barca just get destroyed." I mean,
destroyed, like literally right from the word go.
did you notice the ball boy going like that?
Yeah, Yeah, yeah.
It was just everything was in place. Like Robbo, you'll listen to an interview with Robbo
When he
later
did that on,
on Messi's head, and the interview later on goes, "I would never have done that in 1,000 years."
yeah, yeah, I know. He said, I don't know what came over me. They just wanted it so bad. And yeah, like you just said, I was 100% confident we'd win. That was no issue. I thought we'd win two, maybe, 3-0. Was the away goal ruling or whatever? No, anyway, but yeah, I thought we'd win 2-0. Do you know what I mean? And maybe go to extra time. I never thought that we'd win 4-0 in normal time. Never.
Yeah,
I mean, especially when you look at like Messi, Suarez, Coutinho. I mean, it was ridiculous.
to see
You know?
their faces as well, especially
Yeah.
Suarez and
But they
Coutinho.
probably knew though.
Yeah.
Coutinho and Suarez probably looked at each other and said, "We know what's coming here.
Hmm.
We know." We're like, you know.
Yeah, I just thought one of I talk to a lot of Liverpool fans on here, and they'll all say, their favourite game is probably the Barca game. Is that yours as well?
No, it's not mine, mate. No. So, the Champions League in 2005. I went to the pub to watch it with my boss. He was an Arsenal fan, and I was slightly late. I just had a nightmare getting there, and by the time I walked in, it was 2-0. And so I got myself a drink and went to my friend, and then obviously 3-0 down. And my boss, my mate, he just turned around, he looked at me and he said, "Mate, should we go?" And I said, "Are you having a laugh, mate? This is Liverpool in the Champions League final. Like, regardless of anything, I'm not going to go." And I said, "Come on, man." And obviously, you know the story. And like by the end of it, I mean, he's an Arsenal fan. We're grabbing each other and we're just jumping like along with the whole pub. I don't think whether it kind of, regardless of who you support, if you follow football, wow, what a game. I mean, what an experience to just witness that.
Well, I mean, AC Milan probably had the best team in the
Best
world,
team in the world.
so
For,
we should never have come close to.
oh,
But
no way.
again, it's
It's
the
that
hard
Liverpool
time
back in a
singing
way, right?
of "You'll Never Walk Alone."
Yeah.
And then, from what I'm hearing, you get lots of rumors that the AC Milan were laughing and all that in the
They
changing room.
were.
You know,
Yeah.
probably, the Liverpool. I knew Liverpool would come out and score at least one or two just to make
Yeah.
it a little bit better. But we shell shocked them. I mean, we
Yeah. 15
absolutely.
minutes of just
Yeah,
mental football.
yeah.
It again, talking about trolling very quickly, but there's a nice video of Milan, thousands of people, watching it on the big screen, and obviously they're 3-0 up and they're just like not even watching it. And then obviously, they go out, but it's just brilliant watching their emotions, like, oh, whatever, there's only one goal back. Oh my God, it's two. Oh shit, it's three.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
got a few Italian friends here that are obviously the other side of Milan, and they're just saying, we love Liverpool so much. I love the
Well,
Italian.
Dudek might as well have been on the penalty spot because, I mean, in this day and age, you can't get away with that. I mean, he was so far off his line, it was kind of very
Yeah,
comedic. I mean, it was like, what are you doing? This can't be. I mean, obviously, I'm well happy because we won,
yeah,
but if who was the Brazilian
agree.
keeper for Milan? Dida. If he
Yeah,
would have done the same, I would have been pissed off. I mean,
oh, totally,
dude,
totally.
that's literally a few feet away from every single penalty taker, and I just couldn't believe that the ref was probably like, I better let these Scousers win.
You probably, yeah. I mean, the stadium was like 60-30, 70-30, wasn't it?
Yeah, and probably City Centre was probably
Mhm.
100% Scousers. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
probably
I
one.
mean, it's incredible. I mean, obviously in Madrid and then in Paris, I mean, it's the scenes from the recent years. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah,
I
if
mean,
we're in a final, the Scousers
yeah,
will travel, which is good. And talking of finals, this season we're still doing really really well. Um, the league, I couldn't ask for a better like well, I can't ask for a better league position because we're top. But I just, in August, I get asked, predictions. I never do predictions, but if you would have asked me, are we top of the league, in February, I would have bitten your hand off and gone, what's wrong with you?
Likewise.
It's
Yeah.
just like you said earlier, Slot has just tweaked the system, but he's
Mhm.
also got these players believing it again. I mean,
I do believe that. Yeah.
Abramovich, Jesus
Wow,
Christ!
what a player.
I mean, he's doing Cruyff turns.
Oh, he's unbelievable. His skill rate is just so like you've got to watch the replays to go, oh, actually, look at that because he's so quick at it, and it's just brilliant. It's great to see. And there's a lot of players actually for me that they're different players this season.
Hmm.
They're totally different players, and he's just obviously got that belief and that confidence, you know. And again, I think that brutality that he's got of I will pull you off that pitch,
Hmm.
and you will get your chances. So when you do get your chance, or come on as a sub, you're going to give everything because you really believe that I've got this opportunity. Do you know what I mean? And I think again, if you watch interviews, they've all said the same. We're not playing, we're not first starters in the team, but when we do get our chance, we're going to give everything we've got to basically put ourselves in the pole position for being a first pick player. And I think that's the difference between Klopp is, like I said, obviously we love Klopp. He's our granddad that we wanted to be, but he was so loyal. Do you know? Yes, he gave loads of players their opportunities, but could somebody really force their way into that team? I don't think so, really. But whereas if you play really well with Slot, you're in. You've got your chance. And again, I think that's what everyone realizes. Like, I've got to be at my best. If I'm not at my best, I'm going to lose my position here. You
Well,
know?
every player that's come on the pitch for us as a substitute has done their job, and
Yeah,
that's
they've
what
been
that's
brilliant.
what you need. And you
Yeah,
know, of course, I'd like to see like Harvey play a little bit more.
yeah,
Obviously Chiesa's starting to come back. It was great to see him play 90 minutes. But again, Slot's done the right thing.
yeah,
Okay, he played 90 minutes. Now he needs a rest.
yeah.
He'll play again. But every single player has done their job, and that's why we are where we're at. Fighting on all fronts. Um, you know, we still have a a lot to do in the time to win the league.
Yeah, it's definitely not over.
We have a
Yeah,
game in hand. That'll be Everton, and hopefully we beat them, send them crying. And then they can burn down Goodison Park. They can do whatever with that place. I don't care. They've got that shiny new toilet bowl on the dock that they can
yeah,
use. I'm hoping they would go to the championship. But again, it looks like they're gonna stay up again. But we've got lots. That's the thing with the Premier League. Everyone can beat anyone. You look at
yeah,
Forest, look at the Bournemouths this season.
yeah, yeah,
City
yeah.
dropped off. They won and then they got thrashed. Royally.
Spanked.
You know,
Yeah,
but then you've got Arsenal who can play really good football, but then they drop points. It's going to take pretty much Arsenal to be perfect, I think, from
from
now
now
on.
on. Hmm.
They're going to have to win, basically. I think they can maybe drop points, drop like 6 points,
Yeah.
while we can drop a bit more. But the way we're playing, though, I feel like we're not out of second gear yet.
Yeah, I've honestly felt that the whole season, and that's kind of the most pleasing thing about all of this is like just going back to what you said before. If you'd have said to me at the start of the season, you know, in February you're going to be topping the table and you're going to be fighting on all fronts, I would have said no chance, no way. I mean, yes, maybe top four, and maybe yes with the cups because that team is yeah, they're brilliant at knockout football. You know, it's the same team really that's been sort of, you know, fighting on those knockout, well, the Carabao Cup now for 3 years in a row, like the kids. But you know, it's just an enjoyable time. And I think for me, I said in the WhatsApp group, am I dreaming? And I think I said that 2 or 3 months ago, and it's like I can't help it. You know, I know I'm looking at the parade already in the back of my mind, and I'm like, Paul, stop! Like, you know, there's loads of football to go, you know, like, but we just don't. It's like, yeah, we haven't got out of second gear yet, and I do think that we will do. I really do. I think that the you know the time's going to turn, and then it's just going to be like the run-in, you know, the final run-in, and it's just going to be crazy. I hope so. Anyway, let's pray that is the case.
Well, I mean, if you're not enjoying the ride, then stop watching football.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. You know, you're allowed to get a bit too excited, but then reality kicks in, and you've got to calm it down. Don't. I got asked the other day, where do I need to book the hotel for the parade? I'm like, calm down, please.
Yeah.
Let's not get too.
So it's sold out already.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, all the Norwegian fans have probably already booked, but
Yeah.
a lot of football to go. But we'll see where we're at. I think I go month by month now. We'll see where we're
Yeah.
at in March,
Well,
then April. I mean, we've got Arsenal. April, I think. I mean, we've got a pretty.
no, May the 10th.
Oh, May the 10th. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like Arsenal and Chelsea, and then
And then Crystal Palace.
yeah.
Not
So
that I'm a massive geek or anything like that, you know, like I
yeah,
don't
I
photograph
don't look at the fixtures
it.
all the time. Not
You,
us.
you know, I used to live with a really good friend of mine, Adam, who's an Irish lad, top bloke, and like when COVID happened and we won the league, but we were sat like way before, and we just knew, you know, in the back, and we looked at each other and he said, "Fuck it, excuse my French, sorry, should we should we book the tickets now just to be in Liverpool?" Because I know, you know, my ex-girlfriend was Liverpudlian, and I got a lot of friends there, and yeah, I said, "Look, let's do it." You know, book the flights, got them really, really cheap. And then obviously COVID happened, and you know the parade that never was. And yeah, every time we see each other, we're like, "Oh man, we had the tickets, we had everything sorted," you know. But yeah,
Same.
yeah, as well, yeah. Wow,
Coming,
from
coming
America,
from America, yeah, and I got everything sorted, and then COVID happened, and I was like, great, brilliant,
yeah.
because when COVID happened, I mean, we were what 22 points or something
Oh
ahead.
yeah, ridiculous. Yeah,
Yeah,
we were
even
26 in the end, wasn't it?
though COVID title bollocks that opposing fans like to kind of
Well, obviously, yeah,
you know
of
I
course.
don't care. We won before COVID.
Yeah, yeah,
I think the real COVID title was Man City the
yeah,
season after, because they're the ones that played 90% with no fans. So that's a bit
yeah.
nobody says. But anyway, good footy chat. Let's talk music.
Yes,
Because,
talk all day.
yeah. I can talk all day about Liverpool and music, but
Yeah.
Paul, I want to know your roots of music. Like
Okay.
when you were small, what was played in your house? Like what was your mum and dad into?
So yeah, my whole family is very musical. So my dad, back in the 60s, used to, well, the story is that my mum and my dad lived in Guernsey, because Guernsey back then was like the Ibiza for the UK and Ireland, effectively, way before like Ryanair and everything. And they were there, and my dad was going to a club where local bands were playing, and when the band finished and was clearing up and another band would come along, there was a gap, sometimes 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever. And my dad said, look, rather than there be just nothing and silence, like let me play some records. So he started playing some top 10 records of the charts at the time, and he said within, I think it was 6 months, that I gave him the whole night. Shifted the whole, like sort of landscape of that particular thing. And so my dad was a DJ effectively, and my mum used to sing in bands and stuff like that. So yeah, it runs in the family really. And from a very young age, I was lucky enough to get some turntables, Technics, a really crappy mixer. But yeah, I would just that was my life, you know. I would just be there for hours and hours and hours on end, just not even really knowing what to do, like just playing records, like sometimes just the same records for like hours at a time. And then beat matching came, came a thing, and scratching was a thing. And so yeah, really right from the root. So I started like sort of mixing properly, sort of drum and bass, hip hop, that sort of genre. And I kind of moved to house music purely because I had more opportunities to kind of DJ out and show my friends what I was up to in a sort of club environment and take it somewhere else rather than my bedroom, you know. Um, and that was that. And then it just kind of like stemmed from there. And yeah, I managed to get a residency in a local club in Guernsey, called the Golden Monkey. But it's legendary, really. I mean, it was a perfect venue. It was underground in the basement, 500 capacity, no windows, proper, bass trap. And that's when my ears are totally gone now, by the way. But it was just perfect. It was like, you can imagine Guernsey, it's a very small population, 60,000. So it was all friends, family, cousins, uncles, just absolutely going crazy. And yeah, we started booking. Back then it was the Fantasia crew. So Brandon Block, Loved Up, Lisa Lashes, yeah, all of that lot, and even Boy George and people like that. DJ Sonic, so like really eclectic. And then, I kind of, as I was sort of getting more involved into the club and becoming more of a sort of resident, let's say, we started going more progressive house. So the likes of Danny House and Steve Lawler, and way back when Global Underground was like, you couldn't wait for the new Global Underground to come out. It was like the Bible back then. It was, oh my God, it's Danny Howells. Whoa. And so, yeah, just really lucky in a way, like my boss was really strict on me, and I look back now and I do thank him all the time. I just say, look, thanks, because sometimes I would go into the office at the end of the night and I'd be a little bit cocky and I'd be like, oh, I smashed it tonight. And he'd be like, no, you didn't. I mean, I'm being polite. He'd say it a lot worse than that. And then other times I'll go into the office and I'll be like, oh, I'm not happy with my music. And he'd be like, my friend, you're amazing and stuff like that. So yeah, it was a good relationship, a healthy relationship. And thanks to him, he kind of made me realize that I could make not a career, but I could really push, and do different things in the music industry, which was nice. So yeah.
So when did you leave Guernsey to like get? Did you think to yourself, all right, I'm pretty good at DJing, but I need to expand my horizons?
Do you know what I got through, because I was so young, I got through, I had that kind of attitude at one point, and then I had it like not beaten out of me, but realized quite quickly it's not the right attitude to have. And not only that, like the higher the caliber of DJs that we were booking, and I was obviously warming up for them, and then I would step aside and I would start doing the lights. I'd be looking at them going, oh my God, I've got these records and yet I can't do what you're doing, So I need to learn. But there was one particular moment which was, I think, the penny drop for me. And, I took my ex-girlfriend to the Opera House, Slinky in Bournemouth. I think it was her birthday or my birthday. I can't really remember. And we saw Midfield General. Do you remember Midfield General?
Yeah,
And
yes.
yeah, I mean, he was just three vinyl deck mixing, scratching, and just, yeah, I mean, it was just mind blowing. Yeah, and I saw about, I think it was about 15 minutes of his set, and all of a sudden he picked up his headphones. So he was doing that with no headphones, and and I was like, I said to my missus, we've got to go. We've got to go. I can't stand this anymore. And we went. But what I went home and I started playing for you know, for hours with no headphones until I could replicate what he was doing, you know. And I think with me, I've just been copying most people. Like for me, Sasha and Digweed with the, you know, mixing in key and making stories. I mean, that was sort of really making sure that I understood what's going on, right? Because it's a science, really. I mean, some of the stuff is incredible, but I never left Guernsey like with the head on that, you know, I'm going to go and conquer the world. It was more to the point that, you know, I wanted to go back and embrace with my family because, you know, obviously they're not from Guernsey. So yeah, moving back to basically be around my family, and then things happened. Yeah, and I just got like an opportunity to run a night in Bristol, and I took it. And again, just carrying on from where I left off. So booking the same kind of DJs, and you know, I had that relationship there already with so many DJs, and that was a really good time actually. That was we did really well. We had 4 fantastic years in Timbuktu. And yeah, I mean, I look back now and I just think, wow, if only it was that easy now, you know?
Yeah, it's changed.
Yeah, it's the whole landscape's changed.
But I think, you know, being a resident, it is tough. You know, because you know people are there to see the special guests. You know,
Yeah.
that's why I have so much admiration for like Danny Howells, because he was
Oh,
considered
yeah.
an opener for
Yeah.
years. Digweed, for Sasha, for Hernan, for everyone, and then
Hmm.
he's honed his craft. Like
Yeah.
he's probably one of the best all around DJs. You know, I
Yeah.
love my Sashas, I love my Digweeds, but
Hmm.
the Danny Howell set, you will get anything from down tempo to disco to
Yeah.
house to prog house to breaks. He just knows it all.
Yeah. He's one of my heroes without a doubt. Yeah. And I totally agree with you. Yeah. I just think on the finer side of house music, progressive music, like you said, disco, he just seems to get it. He gets the crowd. Yeah. Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to warm up for Danny, and yeah, I saw recently actually that he might be. I mean, I maybe shouldn't say, but he might be heading back to the island. So let's see what happens there. I heard a little birdie whispered something to me today, so I couldn't. I shouldn't say too much more, but let's see what
Did-
happens.
Didn't wasn't Dave Seaman there not too
Yeah,
long?
he was there like on Saturday. Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah. Playing for the Secret Disco crew, which yeah, they're great. Sasha's played for them as well. We booked Sasha a couple of years ago, and Digweed. They played in Herm, which is a beautiful little island just off of Guernsey. It's like half a mile off of Guernsey. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like the Bahamas, you know. It's just mental. So I was really happy to see Sasha there and to play alongside Sasha there. And I thought it was incredible. Yeah.
Well, I think I'm enjoying, like, obviously I'm in the States, but I'm enjoying watching these YouTube clips of the bigger name DJs playing the smaller venues. I really am.
Yes.
It just brings it back to what it's all about, is
Mhm.
making people dance. It's not about
Yeah.
visuals. It's not about, you know, how many lasers you can fit in a building. It's
No.
about the music and making people dance.
Yeah, for me personally, I always say, you know, I ask people to turn the lights off. You know, to be fair, there's nothing better. If you've got the crowd going, you don't need fancy equipment and lights and stuff like that. But no, I totally agree with you. And I think if you speak to most DJs, they love an intimate party, you know, where someone can reach over and touch you. I mean, there's a place here called Macarena, and it's an 87 capacity nightclub. And I think it's, if I'm right, it's 25 years old, and it will always be here because, and you always get the big DJs when they're passing through Barcelona will come in and play, and the DJ booth is sunk slightly below, so people are above you looking down. So you know you've got to have something about you to be able to perform under that pressure anyway, right? But I absolutely love it, and everybody loves it because they're watching you perform and they can see every move that you're making, So you got the proper train spotters there and people learning and, you know, just of interest. But yeah, it's such a vibe. It really is. It's super famous, Macarena. Yeah.
Yeah, there was nothing better than like back in the day, obviously playing records and watching train spotters do this.
Yeah.
Trying to see what's on the white.
I was one of them.
Oh, we all were. We all were. I
Yeah.
mean, I got so many crinks in my neck trying to figure out, like, can you
Yeah.
just plot that record for me so I can, write it down on a piece of paper and then go to 3 Beat on Monday and tell
Oh
them
God. Yeah.
what,
Yeah.
but,
I,
you
I
know,
was,
things
yeah, I was
change.
speaking with someone. I can't remember. It was the other day, and I was saying, because because of my boss at the club, Miguel, he was, you know, he was on it and he was saying like you could get on this record label and this promo list, you know. So he set up a PO box address, you know, explain your situation, like write, you know, write letters. I'll be your sort of like reference. So I was getting like 20, 30 records a week, regardless. And then I was still spending 100 quid a week, maybe more, like from America, from Germany, from Plastic Fantastic, you name it. Like, and it's the cliche, like, oh, I've got a nice bag under the desk for you, Paul. Like, and it's mad how I look back now and think, Jesus, how I must have spent stupid amount of money on records just to. But I remember as well when we, you know, we did book like the likes of Danny Tenaglia came over and like Miguel being so good, he would bring them into the club an hour early and maybe an hour and a half early, going, "You've got to watch Paul. Like he's kind of tribal, you know, that kind of Steve Lawler when he did the New Breed CD, like Siesta Records and Yoshitoshi and everything like that." And they would be asking me, "What's this?" And I'd be like, "What do you mean, what's this?" You know, I couldn't believe it that like these like superstar DJs were going like, "Wow, I need to," writing it down. I was like, "Wow." Brilliant. No, it's great. But yeah, see, I miss that, you know, and it doesn't happen anymore. And unfortunately, we live in a throwaway market now, you know, and if your tune doesn't hit the right spot within the first 2 weeks, forget about it. It's gone, you know, and I I I don't believe in that, you know. Unfortunately, that's how it is. But you know, it's kind of, you know, keep thinking of ways to for it not to be that way, you know, because
Well, it's nice when name DJs like Sasha, you know, will play something from a few years ago that didn't get the recognition it got. But
sure,
as we all know, with a Sasha set, everybody will get on YouTube or they'll get on what is it, 11001 track list,
yeah.
find
Hmm.
out, and then the record starts to take off again, and then people go, "Oh, that's from
Yeah.
2021. What?"
That's
People.
exactly what happened with us. We you know we had a big we had an Ibiza anthem, let's call it. You know, and it was you and me's PPPP track. And when it originally came out, I mean, it was a vinyl only, so you know it was never gonna fly, let's say. But what we do is every 3 years we do a retrospective of the last 3 years of what I believe was my favorite tracks, let's say, and I put that on there, and then Arme picked it up, and then Dixon saw him play it, and somebody got it on video, and then it just went crazy with the Innovisions crew. And now, I mean, even today, I saw Sven Bass played it at the weekend. So you know, we did a number of remixes, but yeah, that's that cliche of. And like for me personally, like I love doing that. Whenever I DJ, I always pick a track that maybe even 20 years ago or something. That's I think really important and part of being a DJ. I never expected him to play that track. Like wow, like how the hell, you know. And because you do unfortunately we do fall in this category now where you literally do go and see DJs and they're just not inventive anymore. And it's great for the first half an hour. You're like, oh, I like this. And then you're just like, wow, I'm bored. There's no there's no trickery, there's no emotion, there's no feeling. It's you
Yeah,
know, I
yeah.
saw
Well,
Sasha actually recently. I saw him, he played at Nom, uh,
mhm.
and I went along and it was great. Yeah, fantastic. Great crowd, great set. And first time I've been out in a long, long time as a clubber. I
Yeah, and
enjoyed it.
I can't remember the last time I actually went to a club. Like it's been a long time. I mean, I have four little girls, so I spend most of my time with them, and I have a Friday night session here
Yeah.
for them, and they
Oh,
have a little
great.
dance. It keeps me abreast of like what's new and everything. But yeah, I keep going back to like the older tracks.
Yeah.
Like and a lot of the B sides,
Yeah.
in the EP now obviously not on vinyl but on digital. Maybe the third track that wasn't what I didn't really play, and I'm going, wow. But the production level is top notch. There's
Hmm.
tracks from 20 years ago that stand the test of time because it was engineered top
Yeah.
level. The production on it was top level. So
Yeah.
that's why. But and we should never forget these records. And again, it's great to hear, like yourself sitting, tell me stuff like Sven Vath's playing, the records, and it's got to give you like that little like, I did something right. But with the label, when did the label first come about?
So yeah, back I was doing like promotional CDs, just trying to get gigs outside of Guernsey, and we called it Rhythm Control. And yeah, it kind of stemmed from that. And my memory's vague, but a friend of mine said like, "Oh, you should call your label. You should start a record label and call it Rhythm Cult and keep that like consistency about rhythm, you know." And I was like, "Oh, I really like that. That's kind of surely somebody's got that name." And then so I Googled it, and no one had it, and immediately just registered it. And I didn't actually start the label for about 10 years because I wanted to build up and have like 5 or 6 releases ready to go, and I wanted there to be like a story, you know. Um, and again, it really stems from Miguel, my old boss, really, giving me, all the right advice about, don't follow the trends, like, the way that you stood out as a DJ is that 1 minute you're warming up for a trance DJ, then it's drum and bass, and then it's house, and then it's progressive. So kind of stick to that ethos, and a lot of other people that I know have told me the opposite. They're like, oh, well, that's how you're not making a name for yourself because nobody can pigeonhole you, and it's a really funny, and I'm like, I don't want to be pigeonholed, and so Rhythm Cult, we purposely set out to do that. And if you look at our really early releases, they were very, very sporadic. You wouldn't really know, like, and again, and a friend of mine said the other day, he's like, don't take this the wrong way, Paul. He's like, but every release, I don't like it, but it's quality, and I know it's a Rhythm Cult release. It's not necessarily my music, but hats off. It's in that genre. I'd be like, actually, it's okay, So just stuck with that ethos, and even to this day, really, it's still the same.
That's a good friend though, to be
Great
honest,
friend.
because you don't want a bullshitter, you know.
Trust me, I don't have bullshitters in my life.
I can't stand them either. It's like, look, if you've got something to say, good or bad, say it. You know.
They really do. They love it. They tell me with a big smile on their face. No, I'm only joking. But no, I mean, living in Barcelona, I've set my stall out, and yeah, most of my friends, if I'm being really honest, couldn't give a shit about DJing or house music. And thanks, I really appreciate it because obviously it's what I do. And when I have a Guinness, I'd like to talk about something else.
We've got to talk about who's got the best Guinness because on mine and Paul's WhatsApp group, Guinness is a very big thing. So everybody sends in their Guinness pint pictures. So it's quite hilarious to see some of them, and you're like, nah, I'm not having that.
You've seen a few of mine, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think it's a sad life, but it's what I enjoy. But yeah, no, it's yeah. Well, we're quite lucky. I mean, Paul came over last year. Actually, this time last year he was here, and we met up, and I took him to the #1 Guinness place here in Barcelona, Scoobies, and yeah. I think he'll agree it was a top place. We're hoping to get Paul to Macarena actually. That'll
Oh,
be a
nice.
really
Yeah,
nice.
he's a good lad. Really, really good lad. They're all good lads on there. I wanted to ask you, obviously your Black Cat remix. I mean,
Yeah,
again, I grew up listening to Shaboom records. I
yeah.
listened to Black Cat. I mean, that's a big honor for you. Now,
Mhm.
how in terms of remixing, how because I've noticed with a lot of remixes with people, they kind of keep the same vibe, and I just don't understand that. Like especially like a house record or a prog record, they tweak it a little bit, but it still sounds the same, and I'm just like, what is the point? How can you call that a remix? But for you, how do you approach remixing other people's tracks?
Yeah, great question. And the same ethos as what you just said there. It's, a remix is a remix. It needs to have its own character, and you need to take that onto its, another direction completely. And I think if you look at most of the remixes that I think I've had, the best success with, let's say, is literally ripping it up and starting again, So what I do generally is, especially with the Black Cat, I didn't know the original. I never listened to the original, so I just got the parts, and well, I had the original there, but I refused to listen to it. Um, and obviously, it wasn't the first version I did. I think it was probably the sixth or seventh version, and then I just kind of thought, do you know what? With that vocal, a kind of breakbeat would work, in that situation. Tried it, and again, it's just I love remixing because they've done the hard work for you, right? For me, I'm not a producer. I'm a DJ. Like I put my hand up and say, for me, producing's a job. I'm not creative or musical. And there's no trust me, I don't mind saying that. But give me somebody net there that is musical, I can produce for them, no problem at all. So when I get these remix packs, I'm like, yippee, let's go, you know. And I got a really funny story very quickly about the Robert Owens remix. I don't know if you've heard that one, but originally I was kind of umming and ahhing about doing it. And I know that might sound funny, but I just wasn't, I don't know, like that something just didn't click with me. I tried a few attempts. And it was when I first moved to Barcelona. I think it was the first night that I was in Barcelona and I was living with Lars Frank Devoid at the time. And he said, "What have you got going on at the moment?" And I said, "Oh, like I've been asked to do the remix for 'I'll Be Your Friend,' Robert Owens, but I'm not feeling it. Just not. It's not gelling." And like he was there within seconds, like do it now, kind of thing, And I was like, "All right, calm down." But that night we'd been listening to like disco all night, really rare old disco, and I thought, okay, sod it, I'll go down that route and just see what happens. 15 minutes later, I walk out with my laptop in the lounge and go, "What do you think of that?" Do you know what I mean? 50 minutes I wrote it, which is insane. Yeah. I mean, I was like, "Oh, I need a bass line." Ow, ow. Oh, there it is. It's like, and I always say sometimes as well, like the music makes itself, right? You're just like the driver. Yeah, let's
Mhm.
say. And you're just the one giving it the energy and just going, "Oh, I need a piano here. Oh my God, I found it immediately." It's and yeah, so no, but I really do love remixing and yeah, I'm really happy with that Black Cat because like you, Shaboom for me, it's such a great label with so many amazing artists and legendary status really. So yeah, I was so like humbled when he asked me. I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. And I met Mark as well, and we hung out one day. We were DJing together, and yeah, what a lovely guy, just salt of the earth. It's as they all are, right? All your heroes basically. When you meet them, you're like, wow, you know,
Some,
humble.
some.
Some, yeah,
Uh, there's one or two that I've met, and you've just gone, "You're a dick."
yeah.
I won't name names, but
No, no, I won't name names. I've met a few actually, like especially in the promoter game.
mhm.
But yeah, I mean, I could tell you so many stories about like the when we book DJs for club nights, and some of the stories are some of them are amazing, and some of them are just so bad it's unbelievable. But yeah, like I said, it's all part of the fun, right?
So how do you keep everything together? You know, you run your label, you do your remixing, you do your DJing. You know, that's probably your day. Now, when you do like your own tracks and the remixing, I know some producers go, okay, you know, I'm going to treat it like a job. I'm going to wake up at 8 o'clock. I'm in the studio like at 9, and I'll do it till 4 to 5. Is
Mhm.
that how you do it, or
No, no, I
just?
mean yeah, for me, it's all about like having like creative moments, and they come so randomly as well, and it's just when it hits, it hits, and it'll be like a 2 day or 3 day non-stop, no sleep all the way through, because I know just from experience, I know when I've got something going on, because you just know you got that feeling, and then like you're like, well, I've got to finish this, so I'm not going to stop until I finish it. So it's a process, and again, for me, I've always said I'm not one of those producers that just knocks. I mean, I know producers that make three, four, five tunes a day. They're knocking them out. It's just template, 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 template. I'm blank canvas every single time, And again, some people might say, "Oh, well, that's your downfall." But is it? At least I'm giving something that's like 100% organic. It's a and reverb I've never used before. It's a delay I've never used before. Maybe I'll watch some. Do you know what? It's funny. I watch hours of people making music. Can you believe it? And then I go, oh, that's a good idea. That little delay there, and that might spark that creativity off because I'll try it. And it's just moments like that. But yeah, I'd love to be, you know, I'd love to be in a zone where I go to the studio at 9 and I finish at 4. But then I think I did go through that, and I tried that for a number of years, and it just didn't work for me. Yeah. I've got a hard drive full here just of rubbish, basically. I probably go through it now and think actually it's all right. Times
You
it.
got to start somewhere, you know. That's the thing. Do you is your mostly like Ableton, or do you have hardware as well?
Yeah. So yeah, good question. I started off actually with Cubase. And then somebody introduced me to Reason, Inzek, great producer. Um, and then I went to do a Logic course actually in England, in Islington, just to get my certificate. Because what in my mind, when I moved to Barcelona, I was thinking maybe I could like give lessons for people, or maybe like help to not ghost produce, but to give them input from, you know, just from the DJing side, saying, because I know what works on a dance floor. And then it was Jody Westernoff, actually. He's a really good friend of mine. Like, we used to be residents together. And he was like, look, check this out, Ableton, it's amazing. And then that was it. I was hooked immediately, And it's what I love about Ableton is you can get something that's in your head down within 5 minutes, no problem. It's like if you know what you want, it's the perfect canvas. But yeah, I guess I'm also like always thinking about, oh God, drum machines, and I've had them all, by the way. I had the Moog Sub 37. I had
Oh,
like a Jamox drum machine. I had like, yeah, I had a really, really nice studio. But because I learned in the box, we call it in the box, I just wasn't using all this equipment. So I spent crazy amounts of money getting like the Ableton Push and you name it, all these things. Yeah, and I was just making music in the box. So it was just pointless. So
I know what you mean. Like when I first did Ableton, I looked at it and I was so scared of it. I didn't know, like, you know, you make a few noises, but I couldn't put it all together. But eventually it starts. It's like riding a bicycle. Once you got the hang of it,
exactly.
But I still like having like my little corgs.
I love the little setup you got there.
Yeah, my Korgs are like what comes out of those things is really, really good. You know, you can
Yeah,
manipulate
chords are fantastic. Yeah.
and it's good because there's obviously more expensive synths and everything, but you know, for what I do, it's you know, which is home use. I make music for myself. You know, that's what I like doing. You know, and
Yeah.
it seems to work. But yeah, I mean, you know, rhythm call for me has stepped up a notch, especially last year.
Mm.
Um, the music that's coming out is just spot on for me. It's where I'm at. You know, I
Cool.
like my 110 chuggers. You know,
Yeah.
I've gone a bit down in BPMs as you get older. You know, I love my Andrew Weatherall type
Yeah.
psychedelic music.
Totally. Yeah.
But I still love my prog and I still love my tribal elements. And
Yeah.
what you're doing with your label is absolutely fantastic. So for 2025, do you set goals or do you just let it naturally, organically like
I
happen?
never used to. It's a great question. I never used to like one of my sort of I guess it was I used to say to myself, if it's not easy, don't do it, you know. That was the sort of ethos. And I guess the label grew a lot from the hit from you and me, you know, but I think the spotlight came in and then I had loads of music, you know, that I'd signed and I guess I just it kind of gave me that kick that I really needed to, you know, to start releasing it and having like more of a monthly schedule. So I guess that's why last year kind of, you know, it would have you would have seen the momentum going. And then from there, obviously, you know, more people reached out, like more artists got involved, and artists that were actually on my kind of hit list, you know, of people that I would love to work with, or you know, like on the wannabe. And talking about Andrew Weatherall, you know, we signed a great EP from Sean Johnson, Alphos Beats Volume 2, which is proper 110 or 1.5 chuggers, you know, that really psychedelic kind of like rock house kind of thing. So that's coming out. Um, but yeah, just, you know, the music for me right now, it's kind of funny in a sense where have hardly played any of the releases as a DJ. Like, I think my style of music when I DJ is a lot more kind of Detroit kind of techno-y that I love the most, you know, when I'm going to headline for a club. And within that, you will get classic prog tracks and tribal tracks, but they work really well because back then it was, you know, it was house music, let's say, right? And now, you know, obviously we've had Jim Rivers and, you know, we've had Just Her and we've had these artists that are just incredible artists. You know, I know Jim really well. You know, we used to live not together, but hang out in Bristol and he DJ for me a few times. And so that momentum's just carried on. It's carried on and it's carried on. And now I'm just stacked full of these amazing releases. So we're pretty much full on our roster till the end of the year, you know, with some really nice, exciting things happening. And no, it's a good place for us to be. I mean, it's a lot of work, I'm not going to lie, but it's a great place to be. Yeah.
No, that's so good to hear. You're going to do some rhythm cult nights.
Yes, yeah, we are definitely. That was actually the goal that I set for myself this year because we have done some in the past. We did like a winter series here. We had Dinky, you and me, Samuel L. Session, and a few others. And yeah, that was my goal because I think we're at that stage now. And again, we do, you know, like you just said there, we do get asked quite a bit. So yeah, finding the time and obviously the collaboration. You know, I like to collaborate with people, you know, I like to work with people and share the load, let's say.
Good. Well, I look forward to you know what this year brings for the label, and hopefully you'll get over to the States, you know,
Yes.
and
Would love that.
get
Yeah.
DJing there. But yeah, I appreciate you coming on, Paul. This has been absolute. Like I said to a lot of my guests, an hour on the podcast goes by so quickly when you're talking about things that you know you love, which you know for us it's Liverpool and music. So
Yeah, totally. I can't believe it's 8:30 already. here
I
in
know
Barcelona.
it's near enough time for me to go get my kiddos. The house is going to be a circus again. But please, everyone, please go check out Paul. You can go to rhythmcult.com, and even better, because I think Bandcamp does a fantastic job, because most of the money goes to the artists, which
Yeah.
is what it's supposed to do. Is rhythmcult.bandcamp.com. Obviously, you can check out the music on Beatport, every record selling site. But yeah, please go check him out. As I always say, keep your earbuds open to brand new artists and brand new music. That's how music progresses. So please do that. Until next time, please like, subscribe, put your notifications on, and stay safe.
Amen.